Hello everybody, this is just going to be a quick sword in one hand plays from Fiore. This is the first play, which is simply a bind that meets in the middle when a person attacks with a Mendrito Fendente. You step off to the right, step in, and control their hand from the inside and strike at them, which you can see right there. Right? Quick, easy, nice play. Here we have the second play, shown in steel first, of course, which is the same attack and defense schematics, except the defense actually beats the weapon out wide and allows just a strike to the face rather than a control of the hand. This, in my opinion, is the simplest of the sword in one hand plays, and I'm not really sure why it's the second play, but that's the way Fiore did it, so that's the way that we are going to show it. With each one of these plays, we're going to show them both with steel first and slowly, and then with plastic and quickly, just to kind of get the feel of both steel and how it meets, and plastic and how it really goes. This is the sword in one hand third play. It's usually when the opponent is either attempting to withdraw after attack you or pull their weapon down in order to thrust at you after you parry their initial attack. A Mendrito into the same sort of just rising defense. Technically a reverso Satana. Yep. And here you can see that depending on what part of the blade is available, since the blade is not moving quickly side to side, the blade does not necessarily need to grab the opponent's hands. It can also grab the base of the blade or the cross guard, depending on just what is available to you. As you can see, the more your opponent engages you, the easier time you have of getting the grasp of their hand as they attempt to withdraw. If it's obviously a fake out, it does not work very well. Here's the fourth play, which is simply a wrap when the opponent attempts to do the opposite of the previous play. In the previous play, the opponent was withdrawing or running away. In this play, the opponent is coming in closer after the parry. So as you can see there, there's an attempt to pummel strike to the face, and then you wrap up the person's arms around the side in order to gain control of them and use that pummel strike as an opening. As you see there, if you want to, you can step all the way through and take the person down in a typical crossbar neck wrap throw. And as you can see here, the sword can also be placed in the neck if you get on top of their weapon rather than underneath it. This is a lot of the things that is very fun about Fiore's plays. If you don't do them quite perfectly, because things happen when you do things very quickly, they are still extremely effective. Up here now we move on to some fast plastic and see how quickly the person goes in for that pummel strike and how quickly this decision has to be made. And there, yeah, we can see that the throw can happen. Again, when things don't happen quite perfectly, that's still okay. Yep, see, perfect. Right into the neck if you get the hand on top of the play, which is fantastic. It can also be used as a disarm, as shown here. And there, the same thing. Now here we have the fifth play, which is a complete bind of the sword while grabbing the pummel and wrapping the sword all the way around. A full twist, a full Satano with the Ligadura Satano, I think it's called, with the weapon. Yep, all the way down. And this gives us you the ability to twist your opponent's hands so they no longer have leverage, and sets you up perfectly for using their own blade as a way to just slide straight into their stomach. As the last of this one can show right here, you can also just simply take the blade away from your opponent, just like in the previous play. A lot of these can be either just controlling or disarming your opponent, just depending on how you want to go about it. The sword in one hand plays are obviously intended to be used in very rapid situations in order to gain a kill very quickly. Fiore shows this part of the text as being attacked by 3 ruffians, and he has sword in one hand in order to just boom, 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 boom as fast as he can to be able to survive an attack by multiple people. And here we'll move on to plastic and getting a lot quicker. You can see how quickly this play would just drive the blade into your opponent. and how easy it would be to simply take the blade from your opponent as well, just completely controlling their hand motions. Now we move on to the 6th and 7th plays because they bind together perfectly, as you saw just right there. It's simply an additional parry, but the sword doesn't quite go out wide enough, so you push the arm in order to turn the person even further, and then wrap your blade around their neck. And as Fiore says, if they're not wearing good neck armor, you can simply cut the throat. If they are wearing good neck armor, you can use this as a throw. It just takes one more step, and you can chuck the person using their own body structure. Next, we will have the 8th and 9th plays because they also go together nice and smooth. The first play is simply the disarm, is simply the breaking of the thrust into controlling the elbow. The 9th play is the throw, which is reaching across the person, stepping behind them, and just chucking them using your own body mass. You basically just walk through them. Yep, just like that. These plays are obviously two separate plays in his text, but they run together so perfectly that we always train them together. Sometimes the need for the stabs when you're controlling the elbow is not necessary, but we practice it that way just to really get into it. As you saw there, there's no stabs. He's simply controlling the sword arm and getting in quick. And that is completely and totally okay. You don't necessarily need to stab. This is the 10th play, which is an interesting one because it comes back around to just the very concept. I think it's Fiore simply telling us that any blow to the head or any blow directly down simply needs to be interrupted, and you can just take complete control of that person's body because their arms are up above their head, which allows you to just take control of their center of gravity by simply grabbing that elbow. As you can see there, it doesn't matter when and how. As long as you get that sword stopped and then you get that elbow, you have complete control over the other person's momentum, and you can just either hold them there or shove them or do whatever you want. The momentum mechanics are very clear in this plastic section, that you can just turn someone around, which is, I think, what Fiore is really meaning by this section, that if you just dive in, you're going to be controlled. And that is all of our plays of the sword in one hand. Yeah, we'll be back with more.